Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, priests, and salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is your brother Ayash Gabar from the GMS Virginia camp with another lesson that I pray that you find edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I got an article here. Well, another article here from ShitHitTheFanPlan.com, and the title of it reads, "The United Nations Climate Change Agenda is designed to starve and kill you off, not to save you." And starvation has always been the tool used by the elites, used by governments, I should say, to kill off certain populations of the people, or to also control certain populations of the people. So I'm gonna read a little bit of this article and grab some, other, information, to make a few points, and of course, along the way, break out some scriptures. So the article reads, this article is dated August 6, 2024. And it reads, "The right to food, a concept enriched in international law as a fundamental human right, has long been a cornerstone of United Nations UN policy. The human right to food was formally recognized in 1948, the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, and the 1966 International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. Governments once came together to ensure the right to an adequate standard of living, including sufficient food, and they required states to take measures to ensure this right. However, the United Nations and other intergovernmental bodies today are enacting policies that threaten farming operations, making it harder to grow food while restricting access to culturally appropriated foods, and driving up the cost of certain foods that are not sustainable in the eyes of the elite." So this is nothing new. They've always done things, again, as I said earlier, to control the masses of the people. And there are two ways that they've done it. They've done it by controlling the monetary system. I forget who said it, but it's more or less along the lines of, "I care not who makes the laws, but controls the money." And I'm just paraphrasing that. I don't know the direct quote, verbatim, but more or less, you get the gist. You don't care about who makes the laws. What you want to control is the monetary, assets of the people, as well as the people who makes the laws. And second thing that they've used to control the people is food. You control the money, you would control the politicians and the masses of the people. You control the food, you control everything. And if you can control both, then hey, you got a superpower. Reading on with the article, the original human right, Salakia, Akil. Reading on with the article, the original humanitarian intent of the UN is being replaced by nefarious climate agendas. Established in 1945, the Food Agriculture Organization, FAO, was created to ensure global food security with its motto, Fiat Panis, let there be bread. reflecting its mission. The FAO, headquartered in Rome and comprising 195 member states, plays a cultural role in promoting agriculture practices addressing food security. The FAO's pivotal role in the 1960s and 1970s Green Revolution significantly boosted the global food production, particularly in Asia and Latin America. However, the environmental costs of this era, such as soil pollution and the emergence of resistant pests, highlights the complex trade-offs involved in the process of ensuring food security. And all of that's bullshit. Well, not all of that's bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Because the land was destroyed by these devils, like oil spills. Well, oil spills has always happened throughout history. I mean, oil has always been here, you know what I'm saying? And so these things have always happened, but when this devil started creating chemicals, forever chemicals, that actually started destroying, the soil, then, it actually paved the way for, bad food, so to speak, you know? And also, a lot of these pests have always been here. Rats have always been here. Roaches have always been here. Ants and grasshoppers or whatever. All these insects have always been here. So these are just excuses that, this devil tries to play on, to get the people to think that there's a problem when in fact these things have always been here throughout history. The thing that hasn't been here throughout history is, the science that, this man has actually done to create new chemicals that actually destroyed things even worse. Reading on with the article, historically focused on alleviating food insecurities in low and middle income countries, the United Nations UN is now systematically destroying the rights to foods by adopting climate change policies that threaten food, fertilizer, and energy production worldwide. So here it is, you got these companies out there, like Monsanto or whatever, creating fertilizer that actually destroyed the ground, that actually destroyed the weeds. And contrary to what a lot of people have been told, there are weeds that are actually helpful for you that, this devil has been telling you to destroy. For example, dandelions. Dandelions is a very healthy root that actually is, has, some very potent properties. Not properties, not prophecies, properties, that actually help your body. Dandelion root is actually good for you. And when you drink it as a tea, it helps out with your kidneys and your liver. It actually helps you to urinate. It actually cleans out these organs within your body. But here it is, this devil told you that those weeds were bad for you. And what did the people do? They turned around and actually bought these fertilizers that actually destroyed the soil even further. So they didn't. So in essence, a lot of these people have actually helped do the damage for them, and that stems for the lack of information that the people were given, which we're in a time of information popping up, and these people are starting to realize that they've been lied to, What was I? Da 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 da. Oh, Khan. Threaten food, fertilizer, and energy production worldwide. For these reasons, today's UN is designed to make it harder to afford food, while slowly killing off the population through hunger and malnutrition, disease. So that's another thing that's killing off the people as well. You know what I'm saying? Malnutrition. You know what I'm saying? Because these foods that's being planted and harvested today don't have don't have the nutrients in it that it once did, because a lot of this bullshit is GMO, created by, you know, these companies in the labs, you know. I remember eating an apple as a kid and actually getting full off of that apple. Where, like hypothetically saying, if I ate the apple, in the afternoon, I wasn't hungry again until it was time for dinner. And even when dinner came, that apple still kept me nourished and energized. Where, as a kid, I would go outside and play. Yo, bro, as a kid growing up, you know, I remember just going out there and ripping and running, racing and jumping and playing on bars and, in abandoned buildings and, just being adventurous and just being a very energetic kid. Nowadays, you look at the fucking kids and they're just all fucking lethargic and, you know, it just ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Compared to how I grew up, you know? And when you look at the adults, the adults are just through. A lot of them just let their fucking selves go, and that's why it's very important for you to get out there and exercise as much as possible, and me not trying to sound like a hypocrite. I'm starting to get back into it too, you know, lifting weights and working on my cardio, going on walks and doing trails and stuff like that, because this devil has actually taken away the things that you were accustomed to as a kid. And one of the things that you were accustomed to is good food. These kids nowadays have probably never had real food. And it's almost a true fact, you know? I'm just gonna read a little bit of this last bullet point. The UN's climate change agenda, particularly after 1992 UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, has increasingly influenced food policies and driven up the cost of energy, fertilizer, meat, and ultimately food prices. The emphasis on monoculture and reduced greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture has led to policies that limit food diversity and accessibility, particularly affecting traditional diets. All in the name of climate change has all of this taken place. All in the name of, we have to protect the earth. All in the name of we're destroying the planet. No, we're not destroying the planet. You are, through your policies. You're destroying the planet for greed and wealth. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 4, one generation passeth away, and the other generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. So you can say what you want to say, but the earth is going to be here forever. The only thing that's not going to be here forever is you. You Edomites are going to be destroyed off the face of the earth because you have been the number one destroyer of the earth. So, let's not get it twisted. We understand that, these famines, has always been a tool, by the elites, to control the people. And we also know through history that, it's always been done. The thing that the people don't understand is how recent a lot of these famines have actually happened in the earth. A lot of these people don't realize that famines happen every day and have happened for a very long time every day. So I'm going to break out a little bit of this and break out a few more scriptures and end it off. Where am I at? Let's grab this. So I grabbed this off the World Atlas, and the title of it reads, "The Deadliest Famines in History." And I'm going to read off a few of the bullet points. I might read off all the bullet points. And then, a few examples. And it reads, "Famines have affected every inhabited continent in the world, but the frequency and location of the famines have shifted with the times. And that's true. You may have had a famine in China. You may have had a famine in Germany. You may have had a famine in Italy, Sweden, England, Africa, but nonetheless, famines have always been around. The famine rates have been decreasing until 2017, when they saw a rise with the famines occurring across Africa. Famines have been caused by natural disasters, which is true, that happens, and severe weather changes. That's true, it happens, but let's not be ignorant of Satan's devices, because he does have devices that cause crazy weather events to happen in places where it typically don't. So let's not be ignorant of Satan's devices, when it comes, to the weather. But ultimately, we understand that, it's all through the will and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Political unrest or policy, war, industrialization, or any combination of factors. And that is true. The deadliest famine in history took place in China between 1959 and 1961. And this is something that the people just don't hear about. This is something that the people just don't know about. And this is something that the people just don't care about, because it's not affecting them. It's not affecting their household over here in Babylon the Great or anywhere else in the world. So as long as it doesn't affect you, you don't need to know about it, or you don't even care about it, as I just said. It took place in China between 1959 and 1961. This catastrophe has been referred to as one of the great man-made disasters, though regional droughts did play a part. And the key word is the greatest man-made disasters. So I'm gonna grab that, that regional man-made disaster. This is a very good read, by the way, to read about, all the famines that took place in the earth. So here it is right here. The Great Chinese Famine of 1959 through 61. And I wasn't born too far after this, where, even growing up in the hood, I didn't hear about this. I didn't hear about this until, I was a older man. But nonetheless, it did happen, and it is a fact. And quite honestly, the elites in the world knows that this happened, but they don't give you examples on how to prepare for things like this. Why? Because they want it to happen. So let me read a little bit of this article and break out some scriptures. And it reads, the deadliest famine in history took place in China between 1959 and 1961. This catastrophe has been referred to as one of the greatest man-made disasters, through regional droughts did play a part. The famine was caused by a combination of political and social factors brought about by the People's Republic of China. These policies, namely the Great Leap Forward, which began in 1958, and the People's Commune, created a deadly environment that cost tens of millions of lives. These policies included drastic changes to farming policy and prohibited farm ownership. Additionally, peasants were redirected from agriculture in favor of iron and steel production, reducing farm output drastically. All of this led to a significant reduction in China's grain production and a widespread food shortage. While the government reported some 15 million deaths, experts agree that the death toll was significantly greater, with numbers ranging anywhere from 20 to 50 million deaths. So, again, the shifting in the political power, the shifting in the political arena is what caused the famine. The same way that it's happening here. Here it is, here in Babylon the Great, the farmers are being told not to farm. Here in Babylon the Great, the farmers are being fined for farming certain goods. Here in Babylon the Great, the farmers are being told to destroy their crops and also to destroy their cattle. So the same thing that happened there is somewhat happening here, almost on the same level, you know, and and you and you know what I'm saying, the people are just going for it, you know. But it's again, it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you know. Um, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15 and verse 3. And I will appoint over them four kinds, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the sword to slay, and the dogs to tear. And the dogs are going to tear because their food is going to be low as well. You know, these dogs are going to have meals ready to eat with you jakes. But don't get it twisted, you know, a lot of these other nations are going to be MREs as well to a lot of these animals. You know, the dogs to tear and the fowls of the heaven and the beasts of the earth to devour and to destroy. And they're going to destroy, one, because a lot of these beasts are going to have, you know, a spirit on them to do so. And two, they're going to be out here looking for food as well. You know, they're going to be looking for food. You know, and it shall come to pass, if they say unto thee, whither would she go forth? And thou shalt say unto them, yeah, you know, like in that day, when those 2/3 approach you, asking, what should they do? You know, thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Such are for death to death, and such are for the sword to the sword, and such are for, Salaki, let me get that. And such are for the sword to the sword, and such are for the famine to the famine, and such are for the captivity to the captivity. So if that's your lot, you know, to deal with this famine that's coming, then that's your lot. You know, the scriptures say that my servants shall drink, my servants shall eat, my servants shall sing for joy. You know, and who are the servants of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai? You know, the elect. But, you know, to you other people, hey man, y'all about to go through it. You know, and when y'all go through it, you know, a lot of you people are going to think back on the words that, you know, we the prophets have been trying to warn you about of these up and coming events. The book of Mark, chapter 13 and verse 8. For nation shall rise against nation, we're there, and kingdom against kingdom, we're there, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, we're there, and there shall be famines and troubles, we're there. These are the beginnings of sorrow. We're there. You know, we're just waiting. We're just waiting for that final shoe to drop, you know, when all hell breaks loose. But we are hearing about nation against nation. We are hearing about kingdom against kingdom. We are hearing about these earthquakes that has been going on in diverse places. We're there. And there are famines and troubles all over the place, you know. There are rise of the people, you know, the people are angry, you know, and they're going to be even more angry. As a matter of fact, let me get this, because this also is going to happen, you know, in that day as well, you know, because a lot of these people actually think that everything is going to be kosher. Salakia. But nah, it's going to be bad out here. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, I start at verse 14 and read down. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh. And one of those swords is the sword of famine. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is using famine as a weapon against you jakes, against the world. You know, and also that sword is the wicked as well. So I got to clarify that as well, you know. King David said, in one of his psalms, and I'm just paraphrasing, hide me from the wicked, which is thy sword, So Esau Edom is the one that's bringing these things about, and he's also going to be that whipping stick. So verse 15 again, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. We're almost at that point where shit's about to hit the fucking fan. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And we're almost at that point where, these streets are about to be blocked off, and these people are about to lose it. A man shall have desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Because there's going to be these roadblocks and what do you call it? Roadblocks and checkpoints. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And that lack of bread is upon you. Quite honestly, all it takes is the flick of a switch, what I'm saying, to turn the lights off, and within a few days, 2-3 days, they're saying that a lot of this food that's in your grocery stores can be wiped out, A day in the life of a grocery store with no power, day one, possibly day two, the meat produce is rotten, Refrigeration is needed in order to preserve your meat, unless you know how to preserve meat by drying it out, with like salt and stuff like that. But Jakes don't have that skill. Everything that Jake got is given to them by, Esau Edom. So when you lose power, a lot of these stores are just gonna have rotten food, and that's within a few days of no power. And then aside from that, there were videos. It's crazy, bro. There were videos when Jake were robbing stores and shit like that, during the riots. Jake could go in and rob a fucking Walmart and grab a whole bunch of canned shit. Well, not even canned shit. Jake could run into Walmart and grab a whole fucking bunch of clothes and flat screen TVs and leave the produce there. The fruits and the vegetables were still there. So in that day, even those things are gonna go bad. And what's gonna be left? Canned foods. And what do you think the people's gonna come in try to take? Canned foods. And once the canned foods are done, no other trucks are gonna come into these communities, to restock up. Because the gas system's gonna be down because there's gonna be no fucking power. So a lot of these people don't realize how short they are from an actual famine happening in their land or in their local area. Once the power goes out, within a week of no power, man, these people just fucking lose it, because your average person don't even have 3 days worth of food in their cabinets. So yeah, these things are coming down the pipe, and these famines is it's just gonna hit Jake. So I don't want to make this lesson too long. I just wanted to hit the points. What I'm saying. But if you wanted to read a little bit more on these famines, that has happened in the world, this is a great article, illustrating the famines that have happened within the last century. So a lot of these things weren't too far off. A lot of these famines are very recent. And so with that, I'd like to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash, double honor to the apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well, peace and salutations unto the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.